Hey everyone, this is Tony Way, and I'm with Way Woodworking. And today I wanted to show you a project I actually made 20 years ago. In perspective, I was 15, and I did this in a local wood shop. And a lot of people want to know how to do a cutoff lid for a box. So I wanted to show you this box, and a disclaimer, the quality isn't all that great, and actually this thing is as it was 20 years ago. I haven't touched this project up one bit. So before I get any crap for it, I was 15. So today what I wanted to do is, instead of showing you a build, I'm going to show you an old build. And for somebody new to making boxes, I just wanted to take you around this box and show you the joinery, and kind of go through the basics of a cutoff lid, as well as the angled edges of the top, and show you how I mortised in the hinges, and generally just how the whole project went. And I actually have made two boxes just recently, before I started putting these up on YouTube. And I had this out here in my garage shop here as a reference, because I had totally forgot how to do these projects. And it took a while having this out in the shop. And actually my first box, when I did the rabbets for the pieces for glue up, I had made a mistake, and I was able to actually fix it. So it was like doing it brand new. I'd never, had done it before because it had been so long. So I want to encourage people who have never done a box like this to give yourself a little grace. And also, if you've done many boxes but it's been a few years, don't beat yourself up, because I don't think it's like riding a bike. I think you do forget a lot of techniques, and even if you remember the techniques, you might not be as good as you once were at them. And my woodshop class back in high school and even middle school, when I really got a love for woodworking. And you get out into the workplace, and you do what you think is right to provide for your family. And one of the things I want my channel to do is to inspire people. If you want to be a hobbyist in woodworking, or if you want to take it to the next level and make money at woodworking, I want to be an inspiration for all those people. So I just want to take a little circle around this box. And speaking of a cut lid, I want to show you how I made a mistake cutting this. Because to cut it, you run it through the table saw after it's glued up. And you can see I did not do a good job of that. Did not keep it tight with the fence. And like I said, this is as it was 20 years ago. And actually, I'm going to take this thing apart now that I see it, and possibly run it, both pieces, through the table saw to clean that up and sand it. So, with that being said, I'm going to show you how this box was made as best I can, as it's already assembled. And I want to show you the joinery. And you can see these are called rabbets, if you don't know what those are. And you basically, if you have a table saw with what's called a dado stack, like a 3/4 inch dado stack, you can run it through and get this groove in one pass, or you can make multiple passes with a regular width blade, or if you have a router table with a 3/4 inch straight bit, you can accomplish the same thing. So you can see this board is rabbited the same way as this board. This board here is a full board, and that's how you get those 4 pieces to come together. Now the top is actually, you won't be able to see it, the top was, on its underside, was rabbited all the way around to sit inside of these 4 boards, and you can see how inset it is. So that's how the top went on. And then show you the back. And on the back of all 4 of the outside boards, on the bottom, was rabbited back about close to half the width of these boards. And then the bottom is actually a full piece pushed inside of those rabbet joints. So that's how it would have all came together. And when I do a future build on a box, I will do the entire process start to finish, and it would make more sense. So, but before you glued everything up, what you would want to do is have all these set out on a table and sand and finish them with any type of stain and or varnish or lacquer, and have that ready to go, finished, and then do your glue up. And then try not to do maybe what I did, which is a little bit too much glue, and then you'll get it in your joints, and that's what you don't want on a finished surface. And you could clean that up, but you'd run the risk of scraping some of your finish off and gouging it. So once you had all 6 boards glued together, you let that dry. What you do next, in this case, is, I believe, we did the decoration on the top, and what you have to do with that is, to get this outline inset from the outside, you would set your fence on your table saw and set that blade to about 1/8 of an inch deep, and you would run each side against the fence, and you would get a square or a rectangle cut all the way around, and that would give you your line for this right here. Then next, you would tilt your blade at about 12 degrees and stand this up on its edge and run it through all 4 sides to get this decorative edge here. Now next, of course, is the most crucial part, and that is cutting off the lid. And I'm telling you, you're going to be pretty nervous about it because you're going to want it to turn out perfect. But don't freak out. Even what I have here can actually be fixed as long as you give yourself enough thickness on your lid to have room for error, and either re-sawing it through the table saw or a lot of sanding. So give yourself some grace there. But the key, I believe, what I did not do with this box, is when you run this through the table saw, you would set it up on its edge against the fence, run it through one end, one side, and then take masking tape and tape over this edge and flip it over and do the next edge and tape that edge. Because when you get around, let's say you had all 3 sides cut and taped, and then when you got to the last edge and you ran it through, it's not going to come flying off or tilt or do some type of weird motion that you don't want when you make your final cut and break it free. It'll stay attached to the entire box because you'll have it taped up, and I think that'll help out a lot. So then, when you have your lid cut, and you have it how you want it, get it all sanded up nice, and then depending on what kind of hinge you want, I went for a hinge to mortise on the inside. So then you would mortise those in either with a chisel or a router. It looks like I did it with a router and didn't follow my lines too well. So that goes back to the give yourself some grace. And the reason I went with those is I just think it gives it a nice look with them sitting on the inside. But you could easily get some nice decorative ones to go on the back, and you wouldn't have to mortise it at all. And I think it would look just as nice. So then, of course, you would sand all your outside edges now that you have it cut and ready to go, and finish it. And then another tricky part is getting this lid attached. And I can't really tell you, it has been 20 years since I did this box, how I set this up. But with the box I did recently, I set this up with wood underneath of it to hold it in place, and got my marks in order to attach those hinges right in place. And they're not too bad considering I was 15 years old. Now, with these decorative roundovers across the top, that was a special blade for the table saw, and generally not gonna have those on hand. But if you are interested in something like that, you'll have to look for a specialty bit set for those. And then what I did with the inside is I grabbed some felt on hand. I wouldn't have picked this color, I'll be honest, if I was doing this box again right now. But, and then I must have had some glue or something I didn't like in here, and I added this border. My miters aren't all that great either, but maybe it was just to hold the edges of the felt in. But that's it. That's how I did the box. And I'll probably refinish this and clean up this lid. And I think it'll restore it back to, or actually it'll restore it to look better than it ever has. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And like I said, if you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments and I'll help you as best as I can. And look for new videos in the future. And hopefully I'll get a couple boxes on here soon, and it'll make everything make way more sense than it does right now. But I thought I would share this one because it's something I did 20 years ago that inspired me in woodworking, and it inspired me to start this YouTube channel. I want to inspire anybody who wants to get into woodworking that this shop I have here is very limited on tools, and you can build this very box in this shop minus the decorative roundovers across the top in my shop with a few basic tools. And then a ghost comes in here and knocks some stuff over while I'm shooting a video. So I appreciate you watching, and I don't know what else I want to say. Be inspired. Go build something. And show off your work on all the YouTubers' channels that inspire you. And if I inspired you, please show off your work to me as well. I'd love to see someone who tried a box for the first time. So I appreciate your time. We'll see you next time. I'm Tony Way with Way Woodworking. Have a good one.